you're gonna have corn everywhere. Oh my, wow. Today is all about scallops. I'm making Chinese 5-spice scallops with a sweet corn puree and crispy pancetta. In New England, corn is being harvested this time of year, so it's perfect to make everything and anything corn related. Native corn is so sweet and tender, it's ridiculously delicious. Scallops are buttery and slightly sweet, which is perfect with the corn, and is offset by the saltiness of the pancetta and the aromatics of the Chinese 5-spice. Talk about the perfect summer meal. Wow. So let's get cooking. So we're gonna start off with our sweet corn puree. And obviously that starts off with corn. So I took here 3 corn on the cobs, and I took the corn off the cob. You can see it right in my pot. And I'm gonna show you the best way of taking corn off the cob. So you're gonna take your knife, you're gonna hold the corn right by the husk here on the top, on the wider part of the corn. And you're just gonna run your knife down the corn, and yes, corn is gonna fly everywhere. It's just inevitable. Let it happen. You're gonna have a mess. If you have pets, you're probably gonna wanna move them out of the way. You're just gonna get all the corn off the cob. Perfect. Give it a good tap. And make sure you're getting all those kernels. Stick that there. All right, so now I have 4 ears of corn in my pot. This is perfect for 2 people, by the way, a meal for 2 people. And I'm gonna go ahead and put some water in this pan just to kind of fill the top of the corn. And I'm gonna cook the corn on medium heat for about 5 minutes. See you then. All right, so we have some cooked corn. Give myself a nice little facial. So nice. I'm gonna go ahead and stick the corn freshly cooked into my bowl so we can start making the puree. All right, so how do you make this beautiful puree? It starts out with some butter. It's always better with butter. I'm gonna take about 2 tablespoons or so. Stick it right in there. I like to kind of bury the butter in so that the butter melts. Look at that. Ooh, you can see it melting. I use salted butter, but you can use regular butter. No problem at all. And then we're gonna take some curry powder. And I love curry powder in this dish because it gives it some brightness, a little bit of earthiness, and it's just perfect in this dish. This is a 1/4 teaspoon, so not too much. And again, if you're not a curry fan, no worries, don't use it. This dish will still turn out just amazingly. So I have here some coconut cream. You can use coconut water, but again, coconut water is going to be watery. So I like coconut cream because it's creamy, and it's gonna make this puree nice and creamy. This is unsweetened because we have corn here, which is already very sweet. So I wouldn't add any more sweetness in there. And then some salt. Everything is a little better with salt. It just brings out the flavors. Nothing crazy though. And then I have here my weapon. It's kind of scary, look at this. This is an immersion blender. You can use a regular blender, no problem at all. But I like an immersion blender because there's a little bit more control and it's very nice for making purees like this. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead, kind of bury this in. And you can see in little pulses, the blender is going to blend together all the flavors. If you kind of go at this full steam, you're gonna have corn everywhere. So I would kind of do it in pulses, and then once you get a nice like puree going on, then you can turn it up and let it go. All right, it looks like we have some beautiful corn puree. I like it just a little chunky, not completely smooth, because I just like the texture of it. So if you're using a regular blender, kind of pulse the blender and you'll get this beautiful puree. Wow. So I'm gonna set this aside. And now we're gonna work on our scallops. So here, I got some scallops from the market today. It's a fish market around me, and it is just the best place ever because they catch these scallops like the day before you get them. So they're so fresh. And these are diver scallops, which are scallops that are actually caught by divers that swim down and get these beautiful scallops. So they're usually the best scallops that you can possibly get. And the trick before you sear your scallops to make them kind of sear evenly is to take a paper towel and to just dry the scallops off. It's like, you know, they were in the ocean. You wanna just kind of towel dry them off because they're chilly. So you're gonna go ahead and nice pat these dry. Perfect. And then you're also gonna take off the side muscle. So this one actually looks like they took the side muscle off. But this guy here has this little kind of flap you can see. You're just gonna peel the flap off. This is the side muscle and it's actually kind of tough. So you're gonna wanna take it off. This one also has it. And just throw those away. Perfect. And the last step here before I sear them is to take some 5 spice, which is cinnamon, fennel, cloves, star anise, and white pepper. And this is just, it's so aromatic. And a little bit goes a long way. It's just perfect with the beautiful sweet corn puree. And what you're gonna do is just go light dust right on the plate. Just do it on one side because I like to add a little bit more at the end of this dish too. So one side is plenty. And this is just gonna add a little extra pop of flavor. So these are ready to go in our pan. So let's go sear these babies. All right, so our pan is on high. It is screaming hot right now, and I put about 3 or 4 tablespoons of butter into this pan. You can see the butter is starting to brown a little bit, meaning it is super hot. And I'm gonna go ahead and add our scallops right into the pan. You wanna make sure that the scallops are separated a bit, so don't put them too close together. We're only doing 3 scallops today, but if you have a bunch, make sure they're not crowded. You should never put scallops right next to each other. Give them some room to breathe, and that way they'll brown more evenly. So we're gonna let these go for about 3 minutes on one side, and then 2 minutes on the other side. If you're doing sea scallops, which are smaller, you're gonna wanna do about 2 minutes on one side and 1 minute on the other side. Let's test them out. Oh my, wow. All right, so these are about ready. As you can see here, this one isn't quite done yet. It's very, very jiggly. These are a little bit less jiggly. They're more firm, and that means they're more done. So these are ready. This one has a little bit more to go, but we're gonna go ahead and plate in a second. Look at these beauties. They're hot off the press. Could they be better looking scallops? I don't think so. Let's get these plated. So we're gonna go back to our corn puree here, and we're gonna go ahead and spoon this into, I like using a shallow bowl, but you can use a plate too. The shallow bowl just makes it look kind of cool and rustic, but whatever you have is perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and kind of use the spoon to make a nice little circle. And then I'm gonna use some tongs, and I'm gonna put these scallops all on the plate. Wow, look at how they just pop on the plate. Oh my goodness, just beautiful. All right, and then I'm gonna take some 5 spice again, and I'm just going to give each of these scallops just a light dusting. I just really like to bring all the flavors together. So you're just gonna add a tiny little dusting, again, of 5 spice. And then, my favorite part, we have some crispy pancetta here. I just stuck this pancetta, it's just slices of pancetta, in the oven at 375 for about 5 minutes or so, and it crisps up just like this. And it's beautiful to put on top of our scallops. Wow. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Just beautiful. And now I'm gonna take some chives, and this is the nice garnish on the top. It's gonna add a nice little bite, a burst of color to the top. These are garden chives. Wow. Just look at this plate. Oh, I can't wait to try this. I've been waiting so long to try. It's finally my time. I'm gonna go in for the nice brown one here. Oh my gosh, look at the caramelization. Big bite. You got it right. Okay, let's see. Oh my gosh. It is so good. It's almost hard to describe how good it is. The sweetness of the corn and the almost brininess of the scallops. They're so soft. They have that true like sea sweet taste. And of course, I want to get a nice bite of this pancetta. Cuts the richness. Honestly, so ridiculous. It is so good. I'm gonna go enjoy these while they're hot. Thanks for tuning in.